And now, melting point. We begin our special ongoing focus on global warming, and we begin with a shift in the political climate. Just listen to the president in the State of the Union speech last week.
America's on the verge of technological breakthroughs that will enable us to live our lives less dependent on oil. And these technologies will help us be better stewards of the environment, and they will help us to confront the serious challenge of global climate change.
That was a first. And now the White House is promising action on global warming. We wonder what one of the leading contrarians on the issue is thinking. And so we invited him on the program. He joins us now from Capitol Hill, Senator James Inhofe of Oklahoma. He is the top Republican on the Senate Environment and Public Works Committee. Senator, good to have you back in the program.
Hey, Miles, the last time I was on your program, I was the chairman. Not anymore.
Things change. Things change in an instant.
Yes, but they change back, too.
That's true, too. That is very true, and we're there to watch it every step of the way. Let's talk about the science first. We've got a big report coming out, this United Nations report, 2,500 of the world's leading scientists. It's being called a smoking gun report with a link between humans and global warming. Let's listen to one of the leading scientists has to say about it.
The human link is crystal clear. There's no question. The increase from 280 to 380 parts per million of CO2 is due to the burning of fossil fuels.
That's James Hansen, one of the leading climate scientists. He says it's crystal clear. What do you say?
I say that that's James Hansen, who is paid $250,000 by the Heinz Foundation. I think he'd say almost anything you ask him to say.
No, he's speaking, Senator, he's speaking for 2,500 of the world's leading scientists.
Oh, then why is he the guy speaking? Let me tell you what you're going to get. You're wrong in this respect, Miles. What you're going to get on Friday is not the fourth assessment of the IPCC. You're going to get the summary for policymakers. Now, you won't get the report from scientists probably until May or June. But this summary is all you're going to look at. You're never going to talk about anything else. And let me just read to you to show you that I'm right on this thing. On page 4, it says, changes in scientific work to ensure consistency with the summary for policy makers will ensure. These are politicians. These aren't scientists.
No. They are scientists, sir. It's 2,500.
The policymakers? The policymakers, that's the summary,
But
Miles.
this report, this summary, which is for policymakers, is drafted by scientists. They're meeting in Paris right now, and these are leading scientists who make these claims and now say there's a certainty of this human connection. Do you still reject that certainty?
Oh, definitely. I was on a program yesterday with Art Robinson. He was one of the scientists in the Oregon petition, 17,800 scientists that said that, yes, we understand that that we are going through a warming period, but it's not due to man-made gases. And this is 10 years after they came out with their report. Nobody ever talks about that. The recent findings up in Canada, when 60 scientists told the Prime Minister Harper, if we had known 10 years ago what we know today about science, we would never have asked you to sign on to the Kyoto.
Right, and there were many scientists who unwittingly became a part of that. Let's move on, though. Let's talk a little bit about...
No, we can't move on, because if you're talking about the science is not settled. Let's move on.
All right, let's move on now. Let's talk about the debate a little bit. It's interesting to see how corporations are acting right now. I know you saw this this past week, right before the State of the Union address, some real corporate heavyweights, General Electric, Alcoa, British Petroleum, Duke Power, one of the, I think it's the number 3 or 4 coal user in the country, all signing on and publicly stating that they would like to accept, would prefer that there be caps on emissions of these climate-changing gases. Let's listen to what the head of Duke Power had to say about it.
Our businesses and the national economy can grow, prosper, and compete successfully in a greenhouse gas constrained world.
Sounds like corporate America is ready to accept caps.
Hey, let me work into that. It just takes me a second here. My favorite quote of all the people who were on the side of saying man-made gas caused global warming was a socialist in France. He's a geophysicist named Claude Allegre. He's a member of both the French and the American Academy of Sciences. He says, the cause of global warming is unknown. The proponents of man-made catastrophic global warming are being motivated by, listen to this now, Miles, money. Now, who do you think these guys are in corporate America? I would direct anyone who thinks that this is coming from their heart to read last Friday's Wall Street Journal, where they take each of the corporations you just mentioned and talked about how they can make money if we have to do away with coal gasification. Coal is responsible for over 50% of our energy in America. These companies have nuclear, they have hydroelectric, they have wind, and it's to their financial advantage to do away with it. Now, who ends up paying for this?
That's an interesting point, because what you often hear, and I've heard you say it too, that in putting these caps on, it would hurt the economy. What you're saying is there's a good business here. These corporations can make some money by accepting these caps and developing new technologies. Why not go that route?
Well, if you go that route, if you do away with 50% of our electricity in America, then those individuals who are generating electricity by using some other means are going to jump in there and try to do it. The cost to the American people, according to the Wharton School of Economics, the Wharton Econometrics Survey, would be astronomical. And these people all have money that they can make. Sure, if I were on the board of directors of GE, who's making solar equipment and wind turbines, I'd probably say, let's jump on this bandwagon, do away with coal-generated electricity. We'll make a fortune.
All right, let's talk a little bit about what's going on in the halls of Congress right now. Yesterday, the committee, now you're the ranking member of it, sort of took, if you will, the temperature of the Senate, heard from some senators on this issue, one of them you heard from was Senator John McCain. He spoke to me the day after the State of the Union. Let's listen to what he's saying right now about this.
This is one of the serious issues in the history of humanity. We've got to start reducing these greenhouse gas emissions before our planet is inalterably heated, and the consequences of that are catastrophic.
All right, the senator is expressing some sentiment that is out there. You've got Democrats in control of both sides of Congress right now. It seems very likely there'll be some legislation making its way, maybe by this summer. The question to you, sir, is, if that happens, will you filibuster?
You know, I'm not sure about filibustering. I don't know what's going to happen with this. I would say this. The last time we had the McCain bill, and I love John McCain, but Miles, you have to keep in mind, I've said before, not on your program, I belong to the most exclusive club in Washington. That is the United States senators who are not running for president. So I don't have any other agenda other than to try to get to the truth. Now, the truth now is that we have changed the committee structure. It's not me, it's Barbara Boxer, who's running the Environment Public Works Committee. She had the hearing yesterday. I don't know whether you got my part of the hearing or not. I had 12 minutes to speak, and I did. Several other members did also. But, you know, let's look at it and see. The last time the McCain bill was up, we defeated it 60-38. It wasn't close, 60-38, right, because of what it would cost the people in America, the ones who are watching this today.
You just got through saying there's money to be made in this, so there is an inconsistency there. Finally, sir, you're a very religious man. I know that. And
I'm sorry?
You're a religious man, and I've noted with great interest on that same week that corporate America was coming forward, evangelicals coming forward saying something has to be done.
Not at all. Not at all true.
Listen to a leading evangelical for just a moment.
I think it's a fundamental issue here, a defining public policy issue which says, for scientists, it's the earth. For evangelicals, it's the creation. And we have a biblical duty as evangelical Christians that comes straight from the Bible.
What do you say to that, Senator?
One of the problems, there's one individual, his name is Richard Cizik.
That was him. That was him.
I know that. He's the guy that's out there, and you talk about making money. There's the guy that's on the cutting edge, being sponsored by all these environmentalist groups to try to break into the National Association of Evangelicals. They have rejected him, and what he has said, he's speaking on his own, not for evangelicals.
Oklahoma Senator Jim Inhofe. Always a pleasure. Thanks for dropping by.
Thank you, Miles.